And we welcome you to the New York newsroom of AFA Today. The studio's here just in the shadow of the Freedom Tower and just to the north of the historic Trinity Cemetery. We have a lot to get to in the next hour, so I hope you will keep it here. There's lots and lots and lots of news to talk about. We've got, there's some update in the Nigerian girl case. There is a New Jersey town that is kind of beside itself because it thought it understood the Supreme Court just a few days ago to say something that I also thought that it said, but evidently the federal government thought it said something else. And I'm not quite sure what the federal government thought the Supreme Court said, but I'm pretty sure that the town and I are correct. I'll get to that. What else have we got? Oh, Nintendo is apologizing today for a very odd thing. They left something out of a new video game that they were desiring to make. And in the making of this video game, they have now offended some people because this video game that deals almost exclusively with pretend land, people's imagination and stuff that's not real, they didn't pass virtual equality into the virtual video game world. So because there's not, quote, virtual equality, then of course we must have protest and anger and all sorts of other things in the game called let's see, what is it called? Tomodachi. Tomodachi is made in Japan. So the Tomodachi life game is now under fire. We'll tell you why. Iran is thumbing its nose at us and going, yeah. Why are they doing that? I'll tell you that coming up as well. And here's the very last thing I have any desire to talk about today at all. Why do we have to know the intricate sexual details, the intimate life desires, the cravings of one man sexually for another when he has very mediocre at best football skills? Why is this headline news? Why did the networks cover all weekend long? Oh, will the gay guy get picked this round? Oh, he went a whole nother round without being picked. Friends, here's all you have to know about the Michael Sam story, and it's a sad story. He's a mediocre football player at best. He probably didn't deserve to be drafted. But if he didn't get drafted, then the NFL would be homophobic. And if the players say anything about it when he does get drafted, or if they tweet anything, then they're homophobic. And if he makes the team, or if he doesn't make the team, and lots of lower round draft picks don't make teams, if he doesn't make the team, then the team's homophobic. And if he doesn't get playing time, then the coaching staff's homophobic. And if the fans don't come, then they're homophobic. It really has nothing to do with how good the guy is, because he's not that good. He went to the combine and he scored way below average on a lot of stuff. But all weekend long, will they take him? Will they take him here? Will they take him there? Will they take him anywhere? And then, of course, as soon as he finally gets drafted in like the third from the last draft pick in the last round of the whole weekend-long draft, then ESPN has to have the first man makeout shot on sports television ever. Yeah, there's plenty of junk being said about that out there. I do not want to talk about that today because I feel like if I just add to it, then I'm already making too big of a deal about a guy that shouldn't even be in the league. He just stinks. He's not that good of a player and has nothing to do with who he craves sex with. End of story. You know what is interesting? The fact that on Friday, when we were having this discussion, this broadcast, we talked to 100% Democratic callers, people that identified as having voted for Barack Obama in the last two election cycles. We had one person that told us they were unaffiliated, and then during the question when she came on with me, it turned out that she was actually not unaffiliated, that she had voted for Mr. Obama the last two elections. Not one, but both of the last two election cycles. I wrote a piece on this, and it got published over the weekend, and it's now at onenewsnow.com. You can read it there. But you know what's interesting about this? It tells such a devastatingly different story than what all of the talking heads, the people like Nancy Pelosi and Jay Carney and Adam Schiff and Bob Beckel, as he was spitting spittle across the. If you slowed the HD camera down really closely when he's talking about this on the 5 with his castmates, you could see literally the spray coming out of his mouth. He was so angry. He was literally spitting. He was beside himself. And that anger, all these people saying, oh, Benghazi, when are we going to get past it, move on? Why shouldn't we be done with it? It was almost 2 years ago. What's the big deal, dude? As one rather less than dignified response came from the White House. Even though we have emails now that say directly that the White House knew what they acted like they didn't know and then told Dr. Rice to say stuff that was patently untrue. And she went out to 5 news networks and said patently untrue things. And then we all were supposed to take their word for it. Well, it's interesting. On this broadcast on Friday, every person I asked was a Democrat, and every person that got into this show said the Democrats should participate in the committee, and they should do so honestly. I didn't hear from any news channels today. I was really shocked. I thought, someone's gonna call and say, "Wow, no other polling data that we've seen anywhere shows that." What'd they say, Kev? No, the media's in on this. The media doesn't want to talk about it. They don't want to let you know that Democrats, small d, actually do want the Democratic Party to sit on the select committee and to participate in it and to let the evidence lead where the evidence leads. No, media's not going to tell you that. You know what they are going to tell you? How awful it is that Michael Sam, the gay football player, didn't get drafted till the 7th round and the 27th pick of the 7th round. Oh, my goodness. What kind of terrible world do we live in when a mediocre football player can't get drafted early on just because he's gay? Anybody else had enough of that story? We're not looking at the real stuff. We're just talking about the stuff that makes zero difference in any capacity whatsoever. Yes, I'm a little irritated. I just don't understand why the whole scope of journalism has to be reduced to who has sex with who. Anyway, hi, I'm Kevin McCullough. Hope you're having a good Monday, because it is Monday, and we should have a good Monday at wherever you're at. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Maybe you've got thoughts on my thoughts. Be glad to talk to you about them. Okay, so let's get to the real news. In Nigeria, the rebels have now posted a video. In fact, this broke just a little while ago. And they're actually claiming that in this video, what you see are the girls that have been kidnapped. They've all been put in the burqas, and they got the headscarves and all the rest of it. They're all made up, but they are praying to Allah. Now, it was my understanding that most of these schools that these girls were taken from were, in fact, Christian schools. So I'm guessing that what we have here is a thumb in your face from the terrorist. Call me crazy for guessing that. But they're saying that they will continue to force them to pray to Allah and so forth until, they get the prisoners that they want released. That's what this whole thing is boiling down to. They want to see that the people that they want released let go, and then they're going to release 276 girls. Now, evidently, 53 of these girls were able to escape the kidnappers, which tells you one thing. These guys are not that bright. I mean, if you 1 or 2 escaping, okay, 53, that's like a jailbreak, dude. So, and one of them, 19-year-old Sarah Lewan, told the Associated Press that her ordeal was too terrifying for words. She added she's afraid to even go back to school. That's one of the real crimes here. See, these thuggish people that want to recreate all of creation into their image, into their idea of God, into their violent picture of what they believe God is supposed to be and everything else. One of the really terrible things about this is that they don't want women to be educated, and they don't want women to be offered opportunity. And for as terrible and as horrible as we, Bible-thumping Christians are, and I realize that, we're, there's Satan, and then we're just above that in the Islamic framework. Maybe we're just below it. I'm not sure. We're somewhere right in there. But one thing that I can say quite certainly is I don't know of a single born-again Christian, Bible-believing person that would ever say publicly or even believe in their heart. I honestly don't know anybody along these lines that would ever say, I don't want women to learn, that God intends for them to be ignorant, stupid, pregnant, and subservient. I don't know any Christians that believe that. So when we're talking about the equality of all faiths and, what I've always said this, anybody should be free to worship whatever they want, but not all ideas in the marketplace are always equal. And I do believe that Judeo-Christian ideas and values and ways of thinking and worldview is very superior to the Islamic view of people. And if this is any indication of that, then I think my point's proven. I don't think I have to go any further. What you have here is a bunch of terrorists saying they're gonna keep these women confined and incapable of learning. So there is also some speculation now that the Nigerian government has made some sort of contact with them as well, and I don't know how that fits into the overall foreign policy ideas of us not doing certain things for them and so forth. All I know is I want these girls free. All I know is I'm thinking there's 276 mothers this weekend when all of American mothers were celebrating Mother's Day that were wondering if they were ever going to see their daughter again. And that's the kind of stuff that I think we should be talking about, not whether some mediocre, half-witted, half-talented athlete is going to get drafted because of who he sleeps with. I don't think that's necessary for us to discuss. If he's a good football player, he should get a chance to play football. And he should leave his private life at home just like everybody else does. I don't know. I know Tim Tebow purports virginity, so that's kind of interesting. But I don't know how many times Tony Romo has sex with his wife, and I don't care. I want him to go out and play football. When Terry Bradshaw was playing for the Steelers, I don't think he was doing interviews on, how hard it had been for him to get a date when he was going to school in Louisiana, if it was or wasn't. I don't think anybody cared. I think he played football. If you want to play football, Mr. Sam, step up and play football and stop it with all the other stuff. Nobody cares. And you're not going to be judged by who you have sex with on the football field. You'll be judged by how good of a football player you are. And at the end of the day, that's all you should be asking for. At the end of the day, the only thing that people should be considering you for is what kind of skill sets you have in the arena of playing football. Now, if you were being drafted by, a team that specializes in having sex with other men, well, then you should talk about it in that context. But I don't think that's what football is about. So, shut it, zip it, keep it quiet, play football. That's what you want to do. Go do it. Anyway, Kevin McCullough, 888-589-8840. Happy Monday to you. I'm going to tell you a story about a little town in New Jersey when we continue that has taken a Supreme Court ruling recently to heart, but evidently the federal government hasn't. I'll tell you the details of it next, here on AFA Today on AFR Talk.